Now, I'm going to read a preview of a book to you. You guess the title of the book. You probably have not read the book, but we'll try and imagine, what kind of book is it? What kind of title will this book have? Okay, you can enjoy this. It's a bit not too lengthy, but when her marriage falls apart, Ndidi is trapped by the wealth and power of her estranged husband, whose controlling mother exerts a troubling influence over Ndidi's daughter, Tola. Desperate to protect Tola from the family's slavish devotion to a cult-like church and its charismatic leader, Pastor Mike, Ndidi plays the role of the dutiful wife and daughter-in-law. When Tola vanishes, the brilliant detective Wally is assigned to the case and, with Ndidi's help, uncovers darker forces than the greed and megalomania of Pastor Mike's church. What Wale doesn't know is that the playground whispers that terrified Ndidi as a child of Juju, the Bomo child snatchers, and their Orishas have returned to haunt her. Now, that sounds like a thriller, right? Well, here is the book, and here is the title, Orisa. Well, a mother's journey to reclaim her daughter from an ancient power, Dele, Sikuade. This is a book that is exciting to read. Orisa is a title that initially when you see it, you just think, is it about Orisa as in Orisa in Yoruba language, or what is it about? What you can see from what I've read here that it's a very thrilling book, and there's more to it. So you are going to listen to the author very soon, get to know the author, and get better introduced to this book. But meanwhile, I encourage you to find yourself a copy and dive into it, and let's know what you think about it. Now, meet Dele, the author. Enjoy this.
Hello, I'm Dele Sikuade, and I'm the author of Orisa. Orisa is classed in the genre of horror, but actually, personally, I'd classify it as book club fiction. It is essentially the story of the loss of a child through kidnap and the mother's desperate attempt to regain her child. It does have an aura of mysticism running through it because, of course, she has lost her child to a group that we in Nigeria know as the Bomo, who are worshippers of a religion, Ifa religion, and the child is to be sacrificed to an Orisha, hence the title of the book. I wrote it because as a boy, sitting outside my house on Majaro Street with my friends, someone would come along and say, the Bomo are in town. And at that point in time, and from then on, until we forgot about it, we would all make sure that we were home by dusk. The Bomo were very real, and what is in Orisa, although it is a work of fiction, is actually based on fact. And I wrote it because I think that Nigerians especially need to face up to the reality of ritual infanticide, which has existed, may still exist in our society. And you can't write about that without writing about the background, where it comes from. And it comes from Ifa worship and Orishas. I hope that people find the book entertaining. It's not meant to be a dark book that you read that gives you sleepless nights. But at the same time, someone said to me that it was quite profound. And so I hope it does address that aspect of it, which I feel is profound. I'm going to read you a section of the book, just to give you a feel for what I consider to be its truly dramatic moments. Night fell, but the reception showed no sign of winding down. If anything, the attendees were becoming more boisterous. Deji was staring into the bottom of a glass when a quiet voice interrupted him. Oga. He looked up and clenched his jaw. Pastor Mike's bodyguard stood in front of him. Can I help you? Deji rifled his memory for the man's name. Bolaji, sir. Yes, sorry, my mind's a mess. Bolaji, what can I do for you? Pastor say, make I ask if you want us to clear the place for you. Clear? Deji took a moment to catch on. Oh, clear. Yes, sir. Deji clasped his hands in prayer. Please. He thought it would take time to persuade people to leave, but Bolaji and the bouncers turned off the music, shut the bar, emptied the dance floor, got waiters stacking tables and chairs, and had everyone off the premises in 30 minutes. When Chichi and Bode were being asked to move on, Deji hid behind a pillar and let the eviction happen. Bolaji was charming but firm, and Deji remembered that Pastor Mike's people did this kind of thing all the time. Afterwards, Deji wanted to thank Pastor Mike for his man's assistance, but Bolaji was even better at removing his boss from an event than he was at shutting it down. Ndidi came down a little later, saying a migraine had forced her to take a break. Alone and tired, they stared at each other across a coffee table. You okay, she asked. I suppose so. You? I suppose so, though that headache came on suddenly. I don't think I was missed. I'm sure Chichi missed you. Where's Tola? Did Joy put her to bed? Ndidi felt ashamed that she didn't know where Tola was. She'd been so wrapped up in her problems, she'd hardly given the poor girl a thought since they'd got back from church. She must have done, she said, getting to her feet and making her way to Tola's room. In her mind, Ndidi knew Joy had never put Tola to bed and wouldn't do so without being asked. Tola wasn't in her room or any room in the house. Tola! The first call was just loud enough to be heard indoors. The last was an anguished scream outside in the dark. Nobody had seen Tola in hours. She was gone. So that's me, Dele Sikuade, just reading a short section from Orisa.